everyone, welcome to another episode of Just Mommy. I'm your host, Ashley Wong, and with me today is Danielle Levy. She's my friend, she's my cousin, and she's been a mother for almost 10 years. Her son Jonathan will be all of 10 years next year.
Hold on a second. He's gonna be 9.
Next year, he'll be 10.
Oh yeah.
Watch out now.
No, but his next birthday is 9.
I said you've been a mother for almost 10
Okay,
years.
all right, fine.
Right, so she's been a mother for almost 10 years. Her son Jonathan is 9. He'll be all of 10 next year.
Yes.
When did that happen?
Like when you said it a while ago, I was like, hold on, no, something don't sound right. But yeah, you're right. It's almost 10 years.
Yeah. So today we will be discussing navigating the dating world when you have a child. So Danielle has been in a stable long-term relationship. But I want to know, was there ever a time or a relationship where having a child was an issue or it created any conflict?
I don't want to. I mean, it may sound like too good to be true, but actually no. I've had 2 relationships since having Jonathan, and the first relationship, he and that person bonded almost immediately and very well. And even up to now, they're still very good friends.
That's awesome.
And then the person that I'm with now, they took a little longer to start bonding. But now they are, I'd like to say friends. And I mean, even tomorrow is Father's Day, and he was saying to me, well, I need to call Uncle Ari and tell him Happy Father's Day, and call Daddy and tell him Happy Father's Day.
That's so nice.
No, I mean, it was a little rocky for this relationship in the beginning in terms of how they bonded, but I think they're okay now.
That's awesome. All right. Do you think men in their 30s, around our age, do you think they're open to dating women who have a child?
I think it has a lot to do with the person's background. I think overall, yes, men in their 30s generally are more open to dating a woman with a child than men in their 20s. But I really do think it has to do a lot with their background. For example, somebody with a strong Christian upbringing may find it difficult to date a woman with a child, whereas somebody with not that strong a Christian upbringing may be more open to dating somebody with a child. It also has to do with the male ego. Some males have we all know the male ego is very big, but some egos are bigger than others.
Yes.
And the bigger the ego, I think it's harder for a man to accept a woman with a child.
Right. On the flip side, do you think you would date a man with a child?
I do.
Yeah?
I think I would. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think if you had asked me this before I had Jonathan,
That's a different question.
I don't know what my answer would have been then.
Right.
But after having Jonathan, I definitely think I would date somebody with a child.
Okay. Well, I feel like you touched on this already, but what was the first meeting like with Jonathan and Arelon, and what is the relationship like now?
Okay. So actually, I do not remember the exact first meeting. Like if you're asking like where it was, what time it was, what was happening, was the sun up or the moon or whatever, I don't remember the exact details.
Right.
But right, as I had said initially, it took a little longer for their bonding to be something of substance. And again, I think that has a lot to do with Ireland's background, because he's from a very, very strong Christian background. And so it would be harder for him and then other persons in his community to accept somebody who would have had a child before.
Right.
But now their relationship is very good. I mean, they speak on WhatsApp, then video call, they play Roblox together.
That's so nice.
Yeah, they're good now.
Nice. And would you say he kind of looks up to him and respects him as a father figure?
I would say that, yes. I do think so. Initially, I think their relationship, maybe he was looking at Ireland more as a friend, because Jonathan's father is also very active in his life.
Right. Yeah.
So he already had somebody who was fulfilling that father role.
Right.
And so when Ireland came in the picture, he kind of would deal with Ireland more like on a friendship basis. We want to play games, we want to do this, we want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think as the relationship has evolved, he now sees him more as in a father role. I've heard him telling people that he's lucky because he has two daddies.
Really? Wow. And I mean the fact that he said to he wants to call him for Father's Day. That alone speaks volumes. So that's so good. That's excellent.
And then yesterday, he created a WhatsApp chat and termed it "My Best Family Members" and put me, him, grandmother. Oh yeah, you're not in it.
I'm not in it. What?
He put me, his grandmother, his auntie, his daddy, and Aaron.
That's so sweet. I'm hurt that I'm not in it, but that is so sweet. Wow. That's so sweet. All right. So for events like Jonathan's birthday parties, I would imagine both your boyfriend and Johnny's daddy would be present. Has there ever been any awkwardness, any tension having both of them in the same space?
Well, as we said, Jonathan's going to be 9 this year, in August. But I remember his fifth birthday party. At his fifth birthday party, Jonathan's father was there.
Right.
Arlan, my current boyfriend, was there.
Right.
And my ex-boyfriend was there.
I remember that.
Right. And I remain friends with my ex-boyfriend. And Jonathan's father and I are still very good friends.
Right. Yes.
And so everybody was happy. We all had a good time. Yeah. And that was it. To me, I don't think there was any awkwardness.
Right.
I don't know if they felt any awkwardness.
But you didn't
I didn't pick up anything, and they didn't express any awkwardness to me.
Right.
So I think it went off well.
Yeah.
And that was his fifth birthday party, and now it's going to be 9.
Yes. I remember that because I was there, and I agree. I didn't pick up anything, so I guess you know how to pick them well.
It's very important for me to maintain a friendship with Jonathan's father.
Most definitely.
Not only for Jonathan, but for us to co-parent Jonathan. And it doesn't hurt that he is a friendly person anyway.
Right.
He's not the type of person that is big on conflict or anything like that. And then my ex-boyfriend is also a very good friend of mine still. So I mean,
you're blessed.
It just worked out.
One blessed mama.
It just worked out.
Yeah. All right, what advice would you give to other women who are navigating the dating world and they have a child? I mean, you've had such a positive experience, but what would your advice be?
Okay, so my advice would be not to push anything. Wait until you are sure that the timing is right.
I forgot to ask you that. How did you know the time was right to introduce your boyfriend to yourself?
How did I know the time was right? I think it wasn't as soon as we got together. I waited a little while, and once I felt like he and I were serious enough, which was maybe at least over a year.
Right. So you did not meet Jonathan until one whole year of dating?
I don't think so, no. Okay. Because what had happened was when I was in medical school, I was actually living on campus, and then I'd go home on the weekends. So a lot of the time, I mean, I wouldn't have had Jonathan around during weekdays anyway.
Right.
So, right. So I think for maybe my final year of medical school, and then it wasn't until the year of internship when I started living back at home that there was this, and that was something for our relationship too, that there was a major change, because initially I wasn't mommy Danielle, I was just Danielle the student, or Danielle, the girlfriend or whatever.
Right.
But once I moved back home full time, there was a big switch in the relationship from, all my time during the week could have been devoted here, and now on the weekends, my time could have been devoted here, but now the times were, so that was a very big switch that we had to, navigate through.
Yes.
And then, yes, I think I didn't introduce. I don't think that I introduced him to Jonathan maybe a year after.
Okay. So we were talking about
the advice. So the advice would be, don't rush. Allow things to happen at the time when they're supposed to happen. For example, you don't want to introduce too quickly. The other thing is you don't want, because a child can interpret that as mommy not being stable or starting to not like any man that come in the house because They're going to think that that man is not going to stay for long, or it's going to hurt mommy's feelings, and Jonathan is extremely perceptive with things like that. When knowing if I'm sad, or maybe I had a hard day at work, I come home and he's like, "Why are you sad?" And I'm like, and I thought I was trying to bring my spirits up, and he's like, "No, why are you sad? Just tell me why." And if I don't tell him, he's like, "No, just tell me." So their children are very, very, very perceptive. So my advice would be not to rush. And if you don't feel like there is a difference or something that is going to stop the relationship between the person and the child, always put your child first. And if your child tells you anything that makes them uncomfortable, listen to your child.
Have you ever had any instance where like that?
Okay. No, but I know that if anything, I will always listen to my child first.
Yes.
And that has been something that Ireland has, as a male with an ego, has had to try and get into his brain, is that Jonathan was here before him.
Yeah, Jonathan comes first, no matter what.
Exactly. Exactly. Whereas if he was with somebody who didn't have a child first, he would have been number one in that person's life. So that was a very, very, very big thing for him to accept. And it took a very long time for him to accept. I'm not even sure if he fully accepted. Yes, I think mostly yes. But that's something that the person would have to know, that the child comes first. And the child, even though you want mommy or daddy to be happy, they have to be comfortable coming to you and telling you if something is wrong.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, Danielle, and sharing on this topic. As I said, and as you guys would have heard from her experience, it has mostly been positive. But the reality is, I'm sure there are others out there who have had challenges, in the dating world, because they have a child. Just off the top of my head, maybe, your partner and the child doesn't get along for some reason, you feel like you're stuck in the middle, you have to choose sides. Maybe the child feels like this person came into mommy's life and now
no longer my time has to be shared.
Exactly. They're not getting all that attention and the affection that they were getting before. Maybe the child might feel like this person came into mommy's life and is the reason why my parents are no longer together, and maybe that might not even be the case, but the child has that in their head. So I would imagine that these things, may come up. So if you have had any of these experiences, I would love to hear in the comments, because I want to hear these other perspectives as well. So thank you so much for joining us again, and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye-bye.
I really hope you enjoyed that video. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment as well. I really want to hear from you guys. Let's share, let's connect, let's build this Just Mommy community. Thank you so much again.